Well, thank you for coming on, Lindsay, and with Bouse Furhouse. I had seen your business and brand through the Best in BA stuff. You guys had been nominated, and I have a little pup myself, so I'm excited to dive in, learn about your business, and then also learn more about your story. But let's just start out. What is Bouse Furhouse? And then we can get into the originations of it in a little bit.
Yeah, so Bouse Furhouse is a pet boarding, daycare facility, and grooming. We mainly do dog grooming, but we do also service cats. We have a couple people that use us for those services. You never know when someone's going to be working on your house or if you're going on a trip for a really long time. And that's where we come in. And then we have 3 wonderful groomers that can help get your dog all cleaned up and snazzy.
So when it comes to the boarding and the grooming, is it mostly for the boarding that you do in your business, or is it predominantly grooming?
It's mainly boarding and daycare. There's this trend of daycare being really busy Monday through Friday, and then it kind of tapers off on the weekends, whereas boarding's really busy on the weekends and the holidays and summer. And then it kind of tapers off during the week. So they kind of balance each other. And grooming, we typically do Monday through Friday, but we do have one groomer that does help on the weekends because sometimes people don't have availability until the weekend. So, but yeah, it's kind of an all-in-one shop. We don't do training. That is one thing that we get asked all the time, but we do have lots of references based on what your needs are for you and your dog. Lots of great trainers in the area.
I'd like to go into a little bit about like the industry too, because I know that there's such a spectrum of, well, quality of care, of course, but then just like size of kennels, time outside, interaction with other dogs. I just would love to get a little bit into the industry as a whole and then kind of how you guys do things.
Yeah. So I've always been about, would I want to take my dog to where I own and operate? And the answer is always yes. Right now, I currently have a few dogs that I can't take because of their age. The logo dog, the dog that's, we want to say your mascot, he'll be 14 in March, and he's a husky. So I know time's coming, but so he doesn't get to go anymore because of his age. But I have a 2-year-old husky, and I'm like, please, go get some energy out of daycare. And even when we have to leave town, it's a great place that you feel that your dog is safe and that they want to come there. It's really fun to see dogs come in the first time. They're like, oh, is this a vet? This smells like a vet. They get really nervous, and then they go home, and then they come back that second time. And a lot of the times, they're pulling their owner's arm off, ready to get through the door. And I've always kind of said, we want the environment of it to be like a grandma's house. We want you to be safe and loved, and that's what's worked for us. And, yeah. So,
does that mean they get spoiled too? Because that's kind of grandma's house.
We love taking pictures of them, sending them to owners. Like, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So we have little area that we take pictures of dogs, and we're making little craft for the owners, making little goodie bags. First, the manager wanted to do just candy for the owners. I was like, well, our customers are dogs. We got to make goodie bags of some treats. So, yeah, it's just really fun and special to do stuff like that.
That's super cool. Yeah. So we have my wife and I have an Australian Shepherd puppy. He just turned a year old.
Oh.
He is, a Velcro dog. He is. And I mean, I work from home for the most part. And so he is glued to me.
Oh, absolutely.
That being said, we moved from Minnesota, like we discussed before this. So when we go back to Minnesota, we are like, well, we got to drive because we got to take the dog, right? And when you're doing a 10.5-hour drive that turns to 12, that's 2 days of travel. To make a tight weekend is tricky, right? So I guess that leads me into what would you say to dog owners who have never taken their dog to a boarding facility and there's concerns, or they don't want the dog to pick up behaviors, or I guess
absolutely. One of the things I've always said, even before I opened my own facility, is tour the place that you take your dog. And if they don't let you see the facility, that should be a red flag. And maybe not necessarily, oh, well, we don't show it at this time, we want to show you. Okay, that's fine. I kind of understand that for safety reasons or this or that. But if they won't show you at all, to me, that's not okay. kind of like the same thing you would do for your kids at daycare. You want to see where your kids are going to be. You want to know that if they have cameras, can they look back at what's going on? And referrals are such a huge thing. So you have people that started using your service and, they had a great experience. And so that's kind of how we started, is word of mouth. I didn't really pay for much advertising. And, I only had 7 dogs my first weekend I opened. We had lots of different rooms. And we don't have necessarily kennels when you think of like a wire crate. It's more or less like 8-foot cinder block with epoxy paint, epoxy flooring. Yeah, the fronts look a little the way they look, but they're for air to come through and for the dogs to be comfortable. And so it's a really cool business. You'll come by at 12 o'clock, you'll hear dogs barking left and right, but you come back at around 8 o'clock, you won't hear a peep.
Just sleeping.
They're sleeping. It's pretty cool.
So how did you originally get into the idea of running this business? Or how long have you been around, let's say?
So we've been around, it was 10 years this last July. So
Congrats.
it'll be 11. Yeah, thank you. This next year. I always kind of called it my first child, my first baby. I opened it when I turned 22. And I mean, I just turned 22. I was a young business owner, and sure, I got a little of experience from watching my parents growing up, but this was something that they have no idea about. And I had a job in college when I was going to the University of Oklahoma, and it was called Fur Night and Day. And I gave up my Sunday mornings, woke up at 6:15 to be at work at 7, and I loved it. I looked forward to my Sunday mornings. And I think I worked 1 or 2 other shifts, but Sunday mornings were my shift, and I kept working there for a year or so, and I was like, well, I think I could own my own one day. I always wanted to be a business owner, but I never knew what that would look like. I always was in leadership classes and found myself in leadership roles, and so one thing led to another, and we get to my senior year in college, and my capstone was the option was make a business plan. I said, well, let's go. Let's actually start a business. And so sure enough, I did. And I want to really shout out to my old boss, because eventually I did tell her, I was like, hey, I'm going to move to Broken Arrow. Now, I know this is in Norman, so they won't necessarily compete, but I really wanted to thank her for giving me the opportunity. I didn't have hardly any work history before that job. And her and the manager that's still there, they knew that I loved working there. And I've always had this mentality of, if you do what you love, you'll never have to work another day in your life. And honestly, yeah, there's some days I might question that, but most of the time it is stuck true. Yeah. I found something that I really do care about. And I have quite a few dogs myself. So, I really enjoy what I do, but there's also other aspects that I didn't realize that I would love about being a business owner, which is, seeing the development in the employees and the relationships that I have with the dogs, of course, but also the customers.
That's super cool. I mean, then, hearing like starting at 22, it's my story is not exactly the same. I want to spend most of the time talking about you, but I went for a business degree in our final project. It was a small private Christian in Minnesota, and we had 5 or 6 kids in the class our senior year with a professor, and we basically did like a Shark Tank type presentation for a business plan. And I had already started kind of as a hobby, not even a hobby, just a side thing with a buddy. We started cleaning windows. So that led into a connection with a mentor, and he's like, basically all this sucks. Your marketing sucks, right? I can't find you anywhere. But then going for it and running that for a few years and hiring some high school buddies and running a couple crews, learning the marketing, and all of it compounded to what I'm doing now. But just starting a business at that age you're really on an island, because there's so many different stages, obviously, in your early 20s, but like business owner is one that's like, who can I relate to, right? So I found myself in rooms with people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s at their 3rd generation of their business. And it was amazing, but it's really trial by fire. So to hear that you're 10 years strong is pretty cool.
Yes, and I definitely have grown confidence. And I can't lie, for the first about 5 or 6 years of my business, I didn't even want people to know who the owner was. And it's not necessarily like I was hiding from anything. It was more like, oh, they're going to see that this young girl owns this place. They're not going to want to come bring their dog to me. But sure enough, I ended up working that front desk eventually. But, I signed up to work with the dogs. I didn't sign up to work with the humans, and then come to find out, well, yeah, it's a sweet spot for both. So, and sometimes this is pretty fun. Someone like, oh yeah, do you know that name? Do you know that customer's name? And I'm like, well, no, I don't know their name, but I know their dog. I know their dog's name.
Well, I guess that's the important part.
Yes.
How many dogs do you have on a regular basis?
It really does base off if we're in the holiday season.
Right.
So if we're not in the holiday season, it can be anywhere from 70 to 100. And then if we are in the holiday season, it could be anywhere from 80 to 110. Again, based on the daycare, too, because daycare doesn't stay overnight. So they'll come in, they'll play, and then they go home. But during the summer holidays, we're really booked for boarding. We always tell people, hey, get your reservations in 2 weeks ahead of time. And even if for holidays, you might want to do three weeks. And there's so many times we'll have customers that I love so much, and we have to say, I'm sorry, we're full, but we'll put you on a wait list. And it breaks my heart, which we'll get into a little bit later. But I finally get to say, like, hey, there's this other place right down the road, 29 minutes away, give or take.
Yeah.
Called Bouse Furhouse.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that yours as well then?
That will be opening hopefully at the end of February or sometime in March.
Well, let's jump into that if you want to, if that's something that you're...
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blessing, that's for sure. And really the whole reason I wanted to do a second one is, you have these opportunities to see your employees grow. And now I have this problem where I have so many good employees that want to be manager. And what do you do, And so I'm excited that the manager that's kind of at this current location at Bouse Furhouse, she's going to be working at Bouse Furhouse, and she's been with me since 2016, and I opened up in 2015. So I've really got to watch her develop her personal skills and her professional skills, and I'm excited for her, and she's excited. It's a whole new, brand new facility, and she got to see the Fur House as it grows too. She knows a lot, so I'm just excited. It's going to be a little different when I say the current location we're in has beautiful, big, older trees. The background, the backyard is just awesome. You really feel like you're at a dog park. And this next location, it has it. We've definitely built some sort of outdoor area, but it's not the same. So, but we're hoping to plant some trees on the outskirts of the fence so that we can get some natural shading. But you know how it goes. Trees don't grow overnight. No. And it's the little things, that make the business what it is. And these dogs want to come back here because they know, hey, I get to go out, have fun. Yeah, I don't know if they think they're going to meet other dogs, but they pretty much do. Yeah. And a lot of them have relationships with certain employees. Like I've always said, certain employees have certain favorite dogs and certain dogs have favorite employees. And so that'll be fun to see a whole different location and see, we have new customers, both human and dog. And it's going to be close to the airport. It's about 10-ish minutes away.
It's perfect.
It is. If you know where 169 is, there's this exit 46th Street where that new Costco is. It's going to be a mile left from there. And it was just some land, unused land. And here we are, about a little under a 10,000 square foot facility. So it's bigger than the original one, which of course freaks me out a little bit. Yeah. But I tell myself, I can do this. We can do this. We have a great team. And even the groomer that is currently at our current location, her name's Sam, wonderful. She drives all the way from Collinsville to come and work at Furhouse. Well, now this new location, she only has to drive 10 minutes. So
that's life-changing.
It is for her, and I'm excited for that as well. Just the little things,
Besides, like, the yard being different, is it the same concept of a facility?
Yes, and cool. I would say, honestly, even better. Yeah. Because, you learn when you're in 10 years in the business, I wish I did that. I wish I did this. And
kind of starting with a blank slate so you can kind of put it how you want.
Yes. The Fur House used to be a plumbing warehouse. And so we had to do a lot of, we need to break this wall in to make a waiting area, or oh, this is going to be the groom room. Well, the original groom room didn't last long. Felt more kind of like in the room we are. And I was like, okay, how much grooming can you do in this small room? Probably not much. So we went from having one groomer, and then eventually it was like 3 groomers. I'm like, okay, 3 groomers in this one area that wasn't designated even for grooming. We need a grooming building. So eventually we ended up building a grooming building, still on site of the original location, but it's not under the same roof. And so at the new location, it will be. And even just certain things, we planned for these play yards, and we didn't really plan for so much outside time. Well, sure enough, it has become a thing. A lot of people say they love to drive by and see the dogs doing their dog thing. And so naturally we are like, okay, I'm so sick of having to deal with just this irregular door, getting dogs in and out. So we finally have a garage rolling door that will be able to get this bigger group of dogs in and out easier. Again, you learn things.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we're going to have it all in one roof. And I know both of the staff members that are in management positions at the current location are excited to go and work there. That we got to see it yesterday. So
What's the timeline on that?
that's a great question.
A little bit unsure.
A little bit of uncertainty.
But it's coming.
It is coming. It's just, there's certain factors that even the GC can't quite predict, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting close.
That's super cool. I mean, so wait, let's get into where is your current facility?
Yeah.
In Broken Arrow.
It's kind of I want to say it's in the heart of BA. It's very close to Main Street. Not super close to Rose District, but it's between 71st and 81st in Elm and Aspen. There's a big commercial warehouse district back there, and close to Rama, where my son does go to daycare. They're wonderful. But yeah, it's about a little over 7,000 square feet, under 8,000, without that addition of the groom building. So now it's probably over 8,000. But yeah. And we have about 75 different rooms. Some rooms can hold, a family of 5 Great Danes. Some could hold easily 2 dogs, no matter the size. And that's pretty much your average room. You could easily fit 2 dogs in one room.
So how
Maybe not Great Danes, but
how do you decide which dogs go together?
Like as in daycare playgroups.
Or that's if they come in as
correct.
a family.
We
Gotcha.
We always kind of assume that when families come in together, they want to stay together.
Right.
Like we have this family of 5 pugs that have been coming for years, and I couldn't imagine splitting them up. I mean, they're all just...
They don't take up too much space.
They don't take up much space, but we always like to give them plenty of space, and they're always together. Even when they go out into the play yard to go play with other dogs, who do you think they play with? Who do you think they stick with? Just themselves. It's pretty cute. But yeah,
it's a lot of pug action.
It really is. They're really fun. The owners are fun too. We love taking pictures of that crew. And it's just fun. Like I said, it's fun to see. We have another owner, and she's actually a family friend of mine. She's got pretty much Australian Shepherds.
Yeah. She's
got 3 of them, and then one that it's not necessarily Australian Shepherd, but she rescued, and it's fun to see. But we put her dogs, there's 2 in one room and 2 in the other. Now 2 that have been together and kind of older, they stay together, and the other 2 that are younger and more energy stay together.
Yeah.
We have the capabilities to put them together, but they're more comfortable that way. So
saves the old dogs a little bit too. Yeah, we just have the one right now. It just takes everything to not buy more dogs, as you know. Like, wouldn't
or
a friend,
rescuing in my
wouldn't
my
a friend
problem.
be nice?
It's true. I always say 2 dogs is easier to a lot of customers, not because I'm like, yeah, go get another dog, but it's more or less because they entertain each other kind of thing. But
well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing too with a lot of dog breeds is people, because I didn't fully know, but I knew what I was getting myself into with an Australian Shepherd. I wanted to run with them. I wanted to work them. And I mean, not with herding, but so many people, unfortunately, you see get a dog breed and they're like, this is a pretty dog, like a beautiful coat. And then it just sits at home all day. And like an Australian Shepherd, if I didn't work him out or if he didn't have mental, physical stimulation, he would be a terror.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So when I've gone to some dog parks like locally, and there are some great dog parks around here, but there's 1 in 10 visits you get someone's dog, and you're like,
absolutely.
Check your dog.
Yes.
How often at your facility do you have dogs that come in and it's just like they aren't compatible?
We have quite a few, and when I say we have a few, there's some owners like, hey, we're just letting you know that we can't put your dog with other dogs, but we would love to take care of your dog. There's just certain instances where we do have to say, hey, we can't take care of your dog because they could injure an employee, or they could injure another dog through a fence because maybe they have some aggression issues. And there's sometimes we see dogs that are totally fine and been great in social situations, and they get comfortable, and then they start acting out. Sometimes we'll say, hey, maybe you shouldn't bring your dog to daycare so much. Maybe do some more walking at home. Maybe do some other activities at home and then come to daycare once or twice a week. Or, because we have a lot of people that bring their dog 5 days a week based on maybe their work. They have to work an 8 to 5 job, and they don't have time to go home and let their dog out. So,
what's if you don't mind getting a little bit into it, what's like rough pricing for a facility like that? Because I just have no clue, even ballpark of what something like that costs.
And I try to stay comparatively with a lot of the locations here in Broken Arrow, but there's not many in Broken Arrow, the Tulsa area. We charge $44 a night for a dog. The rate does go down based on how long you stay. Like, I think it's $42 if you stay more than 3 nights, and then I think it's $40 if you stay more than 5 nights, and then $26 for daycare. When we first opened, it was $18. So I've had to go up in prices kind of based on the economy, obviously overhead, this and that. But yeah, we relatively try to keep our prices low. We are going to be doing probably a grooming price increase here soon, because simply the supplies for grooming are just going up. And then on top of that, we used this certain shampoo brand for years. Okay, well, they stopped making it. So now we got to look elsewhere. And even dog food. I used to get a really great price on dog food for 9, almost 10 years. And then all of a sudden that company shut down. So I'm like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. And now I'm actually really happy with what we're doing now. We're buying our food just from Southern Ag, which is a local chain. So I'm giving that place more business, and I've established some relationships within Southern agriculture, and they're great because you can go in, you can do this thing called low-cost clinics, because we do require vaccines. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have time to get my dog vaccines. Okay, well, go to the Southern Ag website. They have a low-cost clinic about which locations you can go to, which hours, which days, and you don't have to pay for a vet visit, because vet visits can be anywhere from $35 to $50, just depending on which vet you go to. And so Broken Arrow, honestly, is great for, I want to say, the dog community, especially because we have a dog park now. When I first opened, we did not have a dog park. And the dog park that is here now is actually not too far from where I currently live, and where I did grow up originally. So it was every time
Rose West Dog Park.
Yes, yeah. I get to drive by, and sometimes just because I don't get enough dogs.
Yeah. You need more.
Yeah, it's always fun to look to this. Drive carefully, but look to the side and see the dogs playing.
Yeah, it's always fun to take little Winston there.
I was wondering what his name was.
Yeah, Winston. He loves it, and he has if we go certain times of day, he has his friends. He has the dogs that he likes, and then he has the little dogs that he's kind of scared of, who are a little bit nippy. He's oh.
I feel like that's life, though, right? Like, we can relate when we go to school or go to work. There's certain people are like, oh, I don't want to get on that person's bad side. Yeah,
he kind of shrivels up a little bit, and it's always the smaller dogs. It's always the
that's hilarious.
And I mean, I guess maybe when I say smaller, maybe 20 pounds compared to he's probably 55 pounds now. But
spicy.
He's just, they got a little bit of action going. But yeah, no, I think your facility, I mean, I would love to check it out sometime.
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to have you. We'd love to give tours.
Yeah, I would love to.
But I want to personally do it.
Yeah, I would love to record the tour and show some of the facility. And I know you had a great video on your website, too, of it that I saw. But I was thinking, like, man, it would be cool to, I mean, obviously, like, full transparent. I've been scared to put him in a facility.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Well, yeah, and I totally get that. It's not for everyone, and that's one thing I tell people, especially if you have an established groomer or you have an established place that your dog goes to. I'm not trying to take I just want your dog to be comfortable wherever you go. And obviously just make sure that they're a safe facility, which, again, all the facilities within the Tulsa area, I don't want to say I thoroughly checked out, but they're pretty good. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was a few other ones. We don't need to name them all, but I've seen a few around that.
I'm all about we're all in this together kind of thing, and so of course there are some certain customers that have come through the doors. It's like, okay, well, if we didn't fit your needs, here's maybe some other places that might, you know, but at the same time, there's people that I hope that might do the same.
Yeah.
Because not all facilities are the same. So
Yeah. No, it will definitely be a useful thing, I think, for if we want to do quick weekend trips back, because, you know, like I said, he does fine on the drive, but to have to take him every time, it's just, you know, we love to have him. It's fun to bring him, but, you know, there are times where you're like, I need to get there quicker. I don't have PTO. I don't have whatever.
Or you want to do certain activities that you just can't take your dog to, or, you know, maybe your dog doesn't do good in the hotels when you leave, or, you know, there's so many X and Y, Z reasons, you know.
Yeah, he ends up staying with some family if we go out and do, and they love him, but, you know, you get used to a high energy dog and we can really manage him, but you say, hey, you want to dog sit? And it's like,
oh, absolutely.
Whereas your facility, you've worked with every type of dog.
Yes.
So.
Yes. I feel like there's not one type of dog we haven't had yet. And I say that maybe if I sit here long enough, I can think of some I maybe haven't. But we've even had, you know, those mop-looking dogs come through the door.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what one breed was. There's a bigger one, but then there was a smaller one. And he was coming for quite some time. He'd bring his dog while he went to Muskogee to work at the VA. And he was just this black dog that just looked matted, but that's just his hair. That's just that mop look. And we get all kinds of different breeds. We have a Great Dane named Bo who comes all the time, and people see him from the road and they know it's him because he's got his bright collar on. But we get a lot of, you know, even just mixed breeds that we know and love, and your typical breeds, of course. I'm a husky lover, and it's what you said earlier about, the pretty dogs. I don't know what I got into.
Yeah.
I see that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And we get them a lot because they need to expel some of that energy. So,
well, that's really good on the owners to know that, because it was kind of sad to see when we moved here. We moved into an apartment for a while, and I mean, it's apartment and houses. I mean, these dogs, it's not enough for them if you have a tiny yard to just say, hey, go run, go play. Like they need something, right?
Yeah.
But it was just sad to see, because it was like a lot of the dogs at my complex were not socialized. They just, you heard them almost wanting to. I was like, I'd be shocked if you're not going to break through that window at some point. They're attacking the doors so aggressively. I'm like, that security deposit is 100% gone. But it's just cool to see that a lot of people do take care of their dogs really well.
When I relate it to like this, so let's go back to 2020 when COVID occurred and everybody was shut down for the month of April. I was pregnant, so I was kind of not unhappy about it. But everybody was stuck in their home for close to a month. That's what I relate to sometimes when I say, hey, your dog might not be getting the stimulation, kind of like we didn't get at that month of COVID, you know. We all went a little stir crazy. And that's when I could see when people connect the dots with that. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, and that's we want your dog to be happy. Yeah. You know, and what you put into your relationship with your dog is what you're going to get. And so
that's like the thing that it's a little frustrating to me when it's like, he's a bad dog. Like, no, you haven't trained him enough. I mean, I know you probably wouldn't say that, but it's just
correct.
It's a real thing. It's not a light responsibility. You're taking on it's not just a cat, you know. We had a cat before we had a dog, and she just did what she wanted. There was no training.
They don't care to please you either, really.
It's their house.
And sometimes it's really funny because we see a lot of customers that might have had kids and they just love on their dog more, maybe even more so than their kids. Or, you know, they get a dog and they don't realize what they're getting into. And then they're like, well, they think about it. They're like, well, I don't know why I can't train them to do this certain thing. I'm like, well, you know, you can't speak with them. So the communication is nonverbal. You have to go based off consistency and positive reinforcement. And so, and, you know, again, we're not dog trainers, but we can give you the tools as far as like, hey, you need some extra help. These are some great companies, some great people. So.
Yeah, and I even see it with my pup where I'm like, I need to keep on top of it because he's starting to. It's not like you just train them and then they're like, I'm good with that forever.
Correct.
It's like they start going, well, he's not making me do that anymore. Mm-hmm. And then they get all the wiser, especially with smarter breeds that, you know, some breeds are content to just lay around and sleep all day.
Sure are.
You know, but I would love it if you could maybe just direct people how, if they wanted to take their dog for daycare or for boarding, like what's that process look like?
First, make sure you have your vaccines, as I said earlier. A lot of places require 3 or 4 vaccines. Some require flu. We don't. But we do require rabies, distemper, and bordetella. And those can last. Bordetella only lasts a year. But rabies, distemper, depending on which vaccine you get, can last a year or 3 years. So double check that it is that your dog's vaccines are up to date. And most places will have their own pet application. You'll have to fill that out. They have probably a lot of questions about your dog. And if they don't, well, I don't know. That's for another story. But answer those questions accordingly. And most of the time, a lot of these places will have like an interview day or a free day of daycare is like what we offer to see, you know, does your dog like us? Do we like your dog kind of thing? Does it work? And yeah, we usually give a report card to let the owner know, hey, your dog did good today, or hey, your dog was a little shy, but it's okay. I think with a little bit more time and TLC, it'll be a great experience. And yeah, it's all about transparency and communication with the dog owners. So that makes it successful.
They can do that through the website, or
yeah, there's a pet application. There's a
Okay.
pet application you can download from the website. You can come in to our facility, get a tour, fill it out there.
Cool.
You could take it home with you, fill it out on your own or with your spouse. And again, I highly encourage potential customers to take a tour of a facility you're looking into. That way you have an idea of, okay, this is what my dog is doing. We've had people that have been, it cracks me up too. We have people that have come to us for like 2 or 3 years, like, oh yeah, I never looked at the facility. I'm just like, you know, I try not to roll my eyes. I'm like, we will show you. You know, I will say there are certain times, maybe not the best time to tour the facility. And when I say that, there's like the other day, I pulled into work because I had a bunch of Sam's stuff that I was unloading for our supplies, and 6 people pulled in to the parking lot all at the same time. So that might not be the best time to tour because we're busy shuffling dogs out, or in the mornings, you know, right at 7 a.m. when we open. Here come about 4 to 5 cars in at the same time, shuffling their dogs in. So there's certain times that are kind of busy. So
avoid pickup and drop off times.
Pretty much.
Pre and post
yeah,
work.
I think I might need to put that in the policies. But yeah, we always want to say, hey, we'll show you anytime. So you may have to be a little bit more patient with us during those drop-off pickup times. But
so what are your hours for daycare?
So daycare's any day we're open. The only time we kind of shut down daycare is if there's torrential weather, like, you know, we had last week, or usually holidays. We might shut it down the day before or after just to accommodate a lot of the increase in boarding customers. And we will serve daycare 7 to 7 every day except for Sunday, which is 10 to 5. And again, daycare is not that busy on the weekends. I honestly want to tell potential customers, like, hey, check out daycare on the weekends because it's just not as busy as we are throughout the week.
I suppose just with work schedules.
Correct.
And they're like, well, I don't need it on the weekends.
Yeah, it's just an easier, slower day for daycare on that time. So,
well, I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm excited to see the facility, but I'm even more excited that you guys get to open another facility. I mean, that's a testament to the hard work that you guys have done over the years and just honest work. I don't think that you grow a business like this to the potential of having another business without doing it right. So
yeah, we're doing what you love.
Yeah, so that's super cool. And yeah, anything else that you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, well, like I said, just come on by, and you know, if you have a place that you love, great, keep going there. But if you're curious, stop on by 7 to 7 every day except for Sunday. We have a lot of tenured employees that stay with us. Of course, we have some newer employees here and there. But what's been really cool about my business, and again, that's how I started my story. I worked for someone else, and I came and opened my own. I've had a couple employees that one opened a local groom shop here on the Rose District. I have another one that went to Sapulpa and opened her own boarding and daycare groom shop. People are like, oh, are you upset? I'm like, no, I'm excited for them. Genuinely excited and stoked for them because it kind of fills my cup up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that points to good leadership. I mean, like, you don't see a successful organization that doesn't produce other self-starters too. You
Correct.
know, it's like a blessing and a curse. You would want those good employees to stay
Yes.
around all the time, but you've taught them enough skills that they feel empowered to go do it, which
Absolutely.
is cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It really is. And I wish nothing but success for them. I really do. So, but then on that note, I'm friends with Mariah, who owns Southern Touch Grooming. She used to groom for me for about 3 or 4 years, and it's just so fun to watch her from afar. And then sometimes we'll just hang out. You know, we both have boys, so we'll just hang out, get some coffee, talk about being business owners and being moms and this. And it's kind of funny how we started at the story. I was 22. I didn't have much people to talk to or many friends, and here we go. I found someone who's kind of in that same boat. So
Yeah, I mean, that's so important to have that community to who
it was
can
hard,
relate.
and it was hard at first. Let me tell you, it was hard. Those first 3 years, I didn't know where to go. I did join some business clubs. I joined, I think it was called a Tulsa Business Club, that had very similar of what you were describing, the age group and this and that. But you know, it was fun. And I learned a lot in that business group that I was in for about 2 to 3 years. So
Yeah, and something I've learned that I want to lean more and more into, and which is cool about this, to hear people's stories, but also people are so willing to help young entrepreneurs, and in the realm of not just financially, but giving wisdom and mentorship, which I think giving of time of someone who is super busy is more meaningful than, hey, I'll buy something from you or whatever. So that's something that if there are any other young entrepreneurs who stumble upon this somehow, ask for
Yes.
help, ask for advice, ask for mentorship.
Yep.
Like, it is intimidating, but I would say, especially here in Broken Arrow, people want to help.
they do.
And
You can always find a helping hand somewhere on some corner of Broken Arrow. And what's really been fun to, you know, I've grown up here my whole life. I was thinking about it last night, and I was like, oh, I've lived in 4 different homes here in Broken Arrow, and I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. That's why I came back. I knew when I was a senior in high school, like, yeah, I think I want to open a business back in my hometown. That's what's speaking to me. We always said when we were in high school, me and it was kind of a slogan that we said, or BA till I die. And I think I really took that a little bit too much to heart. So, and I do. I really love the community here. And the business community has been nothing but the same. And I've found so many different business owners that may have even known me before I even went to college or I was in high school. And I get to foster relationships with them, like the owners of J. David Jewelry, or some of the best people I've met. And yeah, I just, you know, sometimes we'll be at the gym just talking about work stuff. And that's the kind of mentorship I think that, you know, if someone does hear this, I'd love to provide if they need it, you know. Might not say I might not know your exact line of work, but I know a few things. I got a few things up my sleeves.
Yeah, well, thank you for being a part of this. And I mean, you coming on and sharing your story helps me to be able to share more people's stories. So I'm super excited to see what comes of this and see what impact it can have on the Broken Arrow business community as well, because ultimately the point is spotlighting more business owners who are busy and maybe they don't have time to market, or maybe they don't have time to talk about themselves as much, or maybe they don't like to. Maybe they need someone else to step in and say, hey, they're doing a great job. And so I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to sharing in the future tour of the facility.
Yeah, well, now, Jake, you're going to have to tour the old one and the new one. So there's a couple. You got some homework.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.